okay, because this person has so much, maybe you could have like a specific feature where it's like, because you've dedicated so much, you can choose to just be platinum now because you've reached this upper limit. There's a ceiling to what you're required, right? And then we don't expect any more than that. And then so when that switches on, then it's like, okay, well, you're platinum no matter what. You can add more to it, or whatever. But you'll just stay platinum, and if it fluctuates, who cares, right? If the dollar value fluctuates, you know what I mean? But as long as it was still accessible to everyone else, like, because that in that situation, it doesn't affect the rest of the other people that would be using it 25%. I don't know. I'm just trying to keep it, like that's just.
Yeah, no, I like that model. I think the most ideal situation for me would be like a low flat token amount, and then up to 25% of that. So let's say if you have 2,000 tokens, you're platinum, just flat, and then or 25% of your portfolio. So that would kind of allow the smaller holders to still be platinum, but also create a cap for
Exactly.
yeah, larger holders not to, we can't expect people to sell a quarter of their portfolio just for some token utility, but there should also be some requirement. So I think something like that would be the best way to go. And like I said, I got to see some numbers earlier that were encouraging, and I think we're going to move more towards a system like that than the 25% overall.
Yeah, just something that's still achievable for anyone, but at the same time, there's some kind of a ceiling. Yeah, I like that.
Roaming, welcome up to the stage.
Hey guys, yeah, that's actually what I was coming up the stage for, but Succat beat me to it. Um, I mean, but instead of like what Zach was saying with the like 2,000 tokens, I was thinking that like keeping the 25% to make it accessible, but you could set the limit or the requirement to be something a little higher than that, because it is a platinum, right? So if you have something, um, I don't know, 25,000 or 50,000 cell tokens, right? This is going to be something that will, um, I guess, just so that it allows a Celsian who has loyalty to be able to say that, hey, I'm loyal, I'm holding it, and they should get platinum, but it shouldn't be. I don't think it should be too easy either.
Yeah, I was considering the same thing, like how high does the token need to be, or how many tokens would it require? And I was thinking in the tens of thousands. But if you do the math on how many just active users there are right now, and you could even say let's do the math when we have 1 million active users. Even if 100,000 or 10% of the active users were platinum, you do that math times 25,000. That's an enormous supply of the token, right? And that's if they were only holding the minimum. So I don't think it requires very many tokens at all if we consider there's only 400 million that are outside of Celsius Treasury. You take that number, and most of them are already locked up in people's wallets, holding them for more speculative purposes than utility purposes. There's only 10 million tokens floating around, right? So to create a requirement that high, I don't think is anywhere close to necessary. You could do something very small with just 1, 2, 3,000 tokens. And then as the community scales, they're kind of fighting over these tokens to get platinum status. With the sheer size of Celsius, it doesn't take a large percentage of the community to own the entire supply just for that utility purpose.
Helps to link it back to the growth of the community as well.
Hey, Zach, you might already be aware of this, but I think it's Yield App. They have that. So what they do is, I think you need 25,000 or 20,000 to be their highest tier, right? They have a tiered system. I think it's 5 different tiers. I haven't looked at their stuff for a while now, but the cool thing when I was looking at it quite a while back, the cool thing that I about it was they had a statistic about how many tokens were essentially locked up for that top tier. So I remember doing the math on it, was like 10% of the tokens, or even more at the time, were essentially being used to get that tier 5 status. So with Celsius, I mean, having, like, I think keeping the percentage is very important just because you want to be inclusive to as many people as possible with lower balances. Because for some people, like even 2,000 would never be achievable. So, I think the percentage makes a lot of sense. But yeah, like you said, adding something where it's between like 2,000 and 10,000, where you can, another way of getting into the top tier for bigger balances or bigger portfolios. And then the cool thing about that is over time, like you said, because it's a fixed supply asset, well, that's now deflationary, we can have another statistic we can put out saying, okay, look guys, like 10% of the tokens or 20% of the tokens are essentially locked. They're not actually physically locked, but they're locked because people don't want to lose that status, right? So it's another way of kind of keeping track of the supply and putting pressure on the supply. So yeah, anyways, just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, and the continued growth of the user base too. Like, we have to consider that, let's say Celsius scales to 5 million people and you have 5 million depositors. Like, it's going to be the same. It's going to be fewer tokens, right, every week. But even if we said the same amount of tokens that we have today, are going to have to be split between a larger and larger group of people. And so for them to participate in Platinum, they're going to have to buy those tokens from somebody, right? And who's selling? It's not me, but depending on the price, I'm sure they will always find sellers in the market, but it's definitely going to be a function of price. But a lot of these things are being considered now, and like part of this whole token utility overhaul. We got to talk about it for an hour today, and it was really cool. Also, what's happening in the immediate future with the U.S. accredited, I think that process is starting Thursday, where you'll be able to sign up as accredited, and then early next month actually start earning and sell as a U.S. accredited user, which is very, very, very exciting. And there's a ton of interest in it. I'm really happy to see the amount of U.S. accredited users that want to earn and sell and support the community and be able to buy, sell in the app. I think this is really a huge turning point for us.
Not to mention that the sell yield that they will be receiving will be locked for a year, so that will affect the supply as well.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of another fringe benefit of this whole thing. Is not only will those sell token that the U.S. accredited earn increase the weekly buybacks and the burn, but it'll also be locked for an entire year. So they're really making a commitment to those tokens, and we'll see how significant that commitment is.
That's right. I forgot it would increase the burn too.
Yeah, everything's kind of got like a plus 10% multiplier on it. So when right now, I'm very glad to see my Matic going up, because that tells me I'm just going to earn more cell token, and then I'm going to end up burning more cell token as well. So it's like, that's just a huge win-win for me that I see in everyone else.
Plan C, did you have any other thoughts before I move on?
No, thanks, Josh. That's fine. You can move on.
No problem. Cellcat, did you have one more thing to say, and then I'm going to move on to some of the other people on stage?
Yeah, no, all I was going to say is that I think it also creates an interesting dynamic in where last time with Celsius, years back, you got all these tokens being distributed. It's like it's crazy. Everyone's got thousands of this stuff, right? And so when you have excess, it makes you feel as if kind of like how the original Bitcoin pizza was purchased, right? When you've got that excess, no one took it seriously and all that kind of stuff. And what's interesting now is that you're kind of seeing this over the next few months and all that kind of stuff, as less and less cell token is available, because there is not enough cell token for every person on this planet. We're going to start treating it less as an excess and more of a, let's see how much of this stuff I can hold type of a situation, right? With Bitcoin, that's why we hold it. Is there's so little of it, and it's got with every few years with the halving, it is in some parts deflationary. But I think what we've kind of created here is like cell token is going to be this super powerful deflationary asset class coming soon, and especially with this new utility, like it honestly, it blows me away, because like just this little tweak that you guys are making right now with it being achievable for these, future whales that'll hold thousands of this stuff, making it more achievable, you kind of lowering that bar to create a realistic ceiling, and kind of monitoring that bar while still having that 25% option. That lets us all basically focus on the token itself. We're no longer focused on the excess, and we're focused on, okay, well, now that it's achievable for everyone, what's next? What's the utility? Why do I love Cell Token? And then when we start having that conversation, then it becomes so much easier for people to hodl it and respect it and just treat it like it's a long-term savings plan.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for sharing that with us, Cellcat. And Jason, you're up next.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Fantastic. So this past week, I was running through some of the numbers with a couple of the members of the community in terms of what we have from proof of community data, and also the stuff that's published on the Celsius web app community page. And I just wanted to run through a few of the numbers and just see if you guys can offer a bit of clarity on stuff, because I'm just seeing a bit of a discrepancy in terms of at least the way that I'm interpreting some of the data. So I'll just start running through a bit of that and see if you guys can give me a bit of clarity on where the discrepancy is coming from. So according to the proof of community data, and I know that this is not going to include some specific things like Cell tokens that are locked away as collateral and all that kind of stuff. The data isn't perfect, but I'm assuming it's pretty good. We've got 64,000 users that have over 10 Cell tokens from the data that I got access to. According to the Celsius community page, we've got about 79% of users that are currently earning in Cell. And we've got about 485,000 active accounts currently. So I'm assuming that the 79% of users that are earning in Cell token, obviously that 79% figure is excluding the United States users, because obviously currently they can't earn in Cell. From previously, I remember at some point Alex said that about 40% of users are US based. So I subtracted those off. So from the 485,000 active accounts, that gets you about 290,000 international users. And if 80% of those are earning in Cell, that should give you about 233,000 accounts that you would expect to have some measure of Cell tokens, because they're earning in Cell token every single week. So if you've got about 233,000 there, I mean, it's entirely possible that some of those would have less than 10 Cell tokens, right? I chose that number arbitrarily. But the discrepancy...
Is there a way to look at that number with any amount of Cell token? Because my concern would be there's probably a large amount of micro balances that are earning just very little yield. And I'd be curious what portion of that would be. But I don't see the issue.
Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. I just went over to scroll through my pictures. Yeah, so in terms of what you just asked, I can see it down to the amount of accounts that hold 0.001 Cell. I've got the data for 0.01, 0.11, 5, 10. I've got all those numbers. So in terms of 0.001 Cell tokens, it comes out to be about 175,000, which is still obviously a little bit down from that 233,000 number, but in the same ballpark. And then to 1 Cell token, you've got about 13,000. So about half.
Okay, and if you had that 173, and so the what was the total non-US user count?
And again, I calculated this based off of active wallets with 40% of them being US, but right. The international users active wallets is about 290,000.
Yeah, 290,000. Okay, so we should be able to multiply that by 0.78, and that should be the number. But there's clearly something not right there. So yeah, there's definitely some sort of discrepancy there, and I would say that the discrepancy is probably more on the that percentage number on the bottom and how that's calculated versus like the proof of community we know is factual, but
Yeah.
that percentage number on the bottom, I'd have to know what goes into that calculation, and I just don't off the top of my head. But I would say that's probably the flaw. And the numbers that you're finding in proof of community, those are the true and correct numbers.
Okay. And again, proof of community, we can't see the tokens that are locked away as collateral, whatever else. I would probably naturally assume that anyone who has enough tokens to lock them away as collateral is probably going to leave at least 10 cell tokens in their account, just pay off loan interest or whatever else.
There'd
So
be
I
some
would
fraction, yeah. And it's important to know that as an international user comes on board, they're automatically opted into earning the cell token. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of there's probably a lot of accounts that don't hold any because they never funded, but they are earning in cell. And again, we have to see, because the active wallets should be wallets with funds in them, and not
Yep.
with nothing. So yeah, I would say the flaw is in that number and how it's calculated. And I'm just not sure how it's calculated. I'll have to ask Nuke
Okay.
what goes into that percentage that's stating 78%.
Cool. No, I think that's great. And as far as what you guys were just talking about just previously to this, in terms of having there be like a certain number of cell tokens that you can hold to get access to platinum rather than just being a percentage base, I think that's great. I mean, currently, if we only have 64,000 users who have over 10 cell tokens, given the amount of active accounts we have and the number of users that we have, expanding on that 64,000 number and just getting the distribution of people that are holding the token up is going to be absolutely massive. So super excited to see that.
Yeah, there's tons of space to grow outwards. Right now, I think and again, the US accredited being able to earn and sell is going to bring not so much a large number of users into earning and sell, but it has the potential to bring a large amount of assets to earn and sell, possibly 2 to 3 times the amount of people that are earning and sell today. So that's going to really increase the distribution and the pool on this token on exchanges. And again, we're going to get a better idea of how many people are going to qualify for that starting the end of this week when we start taking signups, and then early January when it starts happening and we have to make those purchases every week to earn and sell. But from polls that Alex did, the internal amount of assets we can kind of estimate that are US accredited, and then we'll also have to see the hype cycle, right? If Cell Token starts performing differently, then it will change users' behavior. And we've seen that at the end of last year, where people get excited about it, they choose to earn and sell, and that can really alter the market dynamics. That scenario could also take place. So there's a few unknowns, but there's a lot of knowns that are looking very positive for US accredited.
Hey, Zach, sorry guys, Zach, do you know how many assets are US based? Because I remember looking at it a really long time ago, and it was 60% were US and 40% were international. Even though 40% of the users, I think, are US, it was 60% from what I remember that were as far as assets. But do you know that, like, currently what that breakdown is?
I think that's still about the same.
Okay.
There's definitely more assets in the US as a percentage than there are users.
Right.
And then there's an outsized percentage of that is to accredited, because there's a wealth concentration. So a small percentage of the users have the large percentage of the assets.
Okay.
And so for US accredited, that's why such 10 or 15 billion of this asset pool will qualify to earn and sell for the first time ever. It's because all of those guys are accredited and they hold a very large portion of the assets.
Do we know, the other question was, because this is again something I remember looking at quite a long time ago when it was posted every week, was the percentage of assets choosing to earn and sell that are eligible. And I think that I'm curious what the number is currently, because when I used to look at it, I remember the highest it ever got was 53 or 55% were of the available assets were choosing or no. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if that
I
was
remember
available
being-
assets or all the assets.
Right. I remember
Yeah.
it being a lot lower, and then there was a jump of like 15 or 20 points at some time.
Yeah. It went from
And-
30 to it fluctuated between like 30 and 55% from what I remember.
Right. And what I think, like, I'm just offhand, I think it's much closer to 50% than like 78. So, I just don't know how they're calculating that number. But again, like that, we should get that number down to be true and correct, because you will see that change drastically as market conditions change. And like what we saw last year, the amount of people earning and sell went parabolic. And that had massive implications.
Yeah, like
Um,
it could jump so the fluctuation from what I remember was 30 to 55% in that range. So that's almost a 50% increase when the token was doing well versus when the token's down, right? So like you just said there, Zach, there's a significant possibility when the token does better that we see more assets choosing to earn and sell token. And then also, I'm just curious to see what's going to happen with the burn. Like how much with all the founders choosing to earn and sell token, even if they flip over to other assets, and even if other accredited U.S. investors flip over to other assets, that burn impact still remains. So I'm curious to see kind of how much the burn increases over the next 6 months, right?
I'd also just love to chip in super quickly. Just as a user and an advocate of the platform, for me personally, one thing I would really like to see, if you guys can manage it in any kind of a context, is every week when we get the Celsius statistics on, like ETH in, ETH out, net deposits, all of that great information that you guys publish week in and week out, super transparently. If it would be at all possible to include in those statistics, whatever arbitrary number you guys decide to use, the number of users owning 1 cell token or 5 cell tokens or 10 cell tokens, whatever, but just publishing the number of users earning that amount of cell tokens, so we can see the growth in the distribution of people that are holding the token. And then also the number of users earning and sell, the number of assets earning and sell, and just publishing all those together along with the Celsius platform fundamental data that you guys are publishing all the time. I think it would be a really phenomenal thing. It would allow people to see the growth of the different metrics of the token alongside the growth of the different metrics of the company. And when things do inevitably start looking really good and the metrics start improving, I think that could just having that information on hand so that we can see it week in and week out, I think it would do some phenomenal things for the community. But that's just something that I would really like to see.
Yeah, I really like that. If we could, the amount of cell token holders and then the amount of assets earning and sell, I think those would be 2 really valuable data points. If we could get those out now before US accredited, then we can kind of see how that affects those numbers and then how that affects the market conditions.
Yeah, and sentiment, which also affects the market conditions. I think it would be a really, really good thing to see.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great idea. Jason, did you want to add?
Yes. I thought we had this conversation prior about that number, the percentage, and I thought it was explained that that wasn't earn and sell. That was the amount of the account earning sell token. Like even U.S. non-accredited, like say me or anyone in the U.S. that holds sell token earning yield on, that was the 78 or 74%, whatever it is. That's what it was accounting.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe it's also counting people that hold sell, but then, it can't be counting all of US. So I think I need to get clarity from Nuke on what goes into that calculation, and then what number, what is that number really representing? Because I'm sure it's representing something, but we're attributing a false kind of motive to that number.
all I can say is from having looked at the data, it doesn't seem like the numbers add up perfectly well. So getting some clarification there would be good.
Sure. We'll tack some people on the back. Thanks for that, Jason. Brennan, you've been waiting patiently. Did you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, sure. So like I said, as of lately, I've been kind of trying to be tapped in. Finally got, subscribed to the Celsius page and so forth, just to kind of be, engaged with everything. So I'm kind of new, and maybe I'm not the only one. So for starters, I'm actually in the U.S. and I'm trying to wonder, how do I buy a sell token if I do, if I can buy a sell token, and how do I go about the process of, I guess, being an accredited investor in order to earn a sell token? I don't know if I'm asking the questions correctly.
Yeah. So in the US, the only way to get Cell Token right now is on a decentralized exchange like Uniswap. Unless you're accredited, and accredited means you have $1 million of liquid net worth. You earn 200,000 a year for the last 2 years, and then there's some other. Yeah, I looked up the actual definition on like the SEC rules, and there's actually like 25 things that make you an accredited investor, but those are the two that really only apply to individuals. The rest are like, special businesses, insurance companies, and all kinds of other stuff. But that's what it takes to be accredited in the US. It's a legal classification. And if you are accredited, then we can sell it to you directly via OTC. But if you're not accredited, the only way to access it would be on a decentralized exchange.
Cool. So if I purchase on a decentralized exchange like Uniswap and I send it over to Celsius, would I be able to still earn it that way, or just not?
Yeah. Funny enough, you can earn sell on sell as a non-accredited user. If you open your Celsius app and look at the receive, you'll see that you do have a sell token address in your app, and you send it there. You can hold sell token in your Celsius account, no problem. We just can't sell it to you if you're unaccredited.
Gotcha. I think that's about it. Thank you.
Yep.
Santos, I noticed you jumped up to stage real quick during this conversation. Did you have something you wanted to add in? Santos, are you there? Are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, maybe Santos has a bad connection. Brennan, did that conclude your questions up here on stage?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Sure. Kyle, welcome up. Kyle, if you're speaking, unmute yourself.
Tough crowd tonight, man.
Yeah, just coming up. No speaking.
Must be phone issues.
No, it's definitely not phone issues. I did not tap the request. I must have done it on accident. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have a couple of questions for Alex later anyways. Sorry about that. I don't have any questions right now.
All right, well, you can stay on the stage till Alex gets here. So.
All right, right on, man. Thanks.
Cellcat, what you got going on?
I was just going to say, so Uniswap's transitioning over to Polygon. How does that affect us? Because that's kind of hype.
Yeah, I think that's great, and I think that's going to bring accessibility back to not only Cell Token, but all kinds of other assets that people can transact in, for pennies instead of hundreds of dollars.
Because that could be a huge impact if they're able to buy Cell Token with the fees being low like that. Oh my goodness.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think Polygon's kind of made the jump and are going to be broadly adopted. And if their technology works at scale, then it's going to allow an ultra low fee service again on Ethereum that we haven't seen for 2 years now.
It's just amazing. It's beautiful to see that starting to happen.
Yeah, and that's why I mean we're working with them, and they're going to play a part in Celsius X, and I think their infrastructure tech is going to be really, really valuable to the entire community.
When you guys do your little collabs, you should do, you know how they do like the company X this? You should do like Celsius X, whatever you're collabing with. That'd be cool.
Oh, I'm sure we'll have all kinds of dad jokes for it. Believe you me.
Lots of good marketing material there. Santos, do you have a connection now? Are you able to speak?
Hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's a little choppy.
Can you hear me
It's a
now?
little choppy, man. You gotta get off the golf course.
Yes,
There
we
you
can
go.
hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? I was just
Yes,
trying to
we
help.
got you.
Somebody was asking how to buy the Cell token in the U.S. and there's other ways as well. Now, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. So you can also use Dharma, and you can link your bank account to Dharma. You can make a direct deposit, and you can buy Cell token using the Polygon blockchain. And then you can bridge your Cell token from the Polygon blockchain to the Ethereum blockchain by using the Polygon wallet. Gas fees are normally expensive, but over the weekend, you can try Saturday night, Sunday morning. Seems as the gas prices are lower. And then you can bridge your Cell token from the Polygon blockchain to the Ethereum blockchain, connect it to your MetaMask wallet, and then send it back to the Celsius wallet. If you have any questions, you can always DM me, and I'll help you do it.
Appreciate that, Santos. Thanks for coming up. Fabrizi, I think you're up next. Fabrizi.
Yeah, sorry. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yeah, hi guys. Thanks for all you do with the community and educating us. We really appreciate your constant information. Apologies if you covered this before, but how do we partake in the latest equity round of Celsius?
Yep, that's going to be on Bank to the Future. So I would sign up there, get your profile ready, and verified accredited, and then we'll be able to participate in that once we open it up.
Okay, is that probably going to be in the new year sometime?
It should be in the imminent future.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Yep, thanks for joining us up here on stage, Fabrizi. Alex, you're up next.
Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. I'm looking at my Telegram Celsius Ambassadors group, and Cellcat wants me to ask a question. Actually, I started it, but we were having a discussion over the upcoming Celsius Visa card, and my question is, how are we doing on the roadmap? Are we like 50% there, 70% there? And is it going to be a debit card or a credit card, if you guys know? And also some of the specifics behind it. I currently use the Fold card and the BlockFi card, and I also have the Coinbase card. And I mean, the market's getting a little flooded there, and I know Celsius is probably going to be the best, and I'm ready for it. But what can you tell us as an update as to when it's coming and how close are we?
Yeah, we don't have the details on it yet. The card is still in development. It will be a credit card, and then we're also going to integrate it with our loans system so that these interest rates are not 15, 20, 25%. They'll be significantly lower, drastically lower. But we don't have the details on that yet. That's probably going to be a Q1, Q2 release, and when we have more information, we will surely make an announcement.
Okay, thanks, Zach.
Yep. Thanks for coming up, Alex. Any other questions up here on stage? Comments or feedback?
One comment I can make in regards to the cards is as we get closer and closer, we're going to put more information out on Twitter via Twitter from the Celsius Twitter account. So be watching for that. There's going to be a lot of cool things planned around that. So, but we're still a ways away, so we don't want to give any dates or anything at this time because we don't want to disappoint. So, but just know that as we get closer, more things will start to come out.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Scott. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, I think the big thing this week is going to be the next tranche of swap users that goes out. I heard a very encouraging number today on how many users will get access this week. So we'll see how that goes, along with some more capabilities, and then the platinum users getting higher limits. So I think we're marching forward with that, and then the rest of the amigos coming out in the next few weeks. And this train is finally getting out of the station, and we're getting some really great product releases from the team. It's been a long time coming.
Well, that's exciting. And speaking on that type of stuff, and the meeting that you had today, Zach, was there anything pertaining to Celsius X and integration of the Cell token? Was there any speak on that? Is there possibly a light at the end of the tunnel with that, or?
Yeah, it's actually, I think there's going to be so many things that we can do with that. But those are the longer term visions, where not only we can implement Cell token into Celsius X in a lot of ways that we've seen other decentralized organizations do, other DeFi protocols, and it's really going to be a mixture of a lot of things, I think, at the end of the day. So, the team is working on utility. They're putting a handful of things in the short term, medium term, and long term buckets. And I was expressing to them today that the community is really, really hungry for a roadmap or a vision or what's going to be taking place. And right now they're kind of organizing all that in a way that can then be communicated. So, this is going to be a long journey, and it's a long game. But again, this is a 100-year company and not a short-term play.
Nice. Glad to hear that. Wesley, I believe you came up next.
Yeah, I was just curious to know if you guys had swapped any of your loaned funds, or what differences you guys saw in taking loans backed by Cell token versus Bitcoin and ETH.
There's no difference. You get the same stable coins, So, I've taken loans against my Cell token, and it works beautifully. I got stable coins immediately, and I could go use those as needed. So there's a ton of flexibility there, and Alex was talking about bringing that rate to 0, and I think that's going to happen so that you could take a 0%. Anyone could take a 0% loan against their Cell token. I think that'll be a great benefit.
Wesley, did that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Thanks. I'm just trying to hear it in person, see what differences there were, but outside of the slightly different rate, that's about it, really.
Yeah, it's just collateral, right? Just like any other asset in the wallet is collateral. So, with Cell token, we want to make it a little bit special, but collateralizing these loans are a really powerful tool to access some of that capital without selling your tokens. And with loans, it's like you don't have to sell ever again. And as long as we continue to see the appreciation of crypto over time, then you're deferring your taxes, you're accessing this capital appreciation, and You're doing it very, very efficiently. So I've become a huge fan of loans.
Did that conclude your questions, Wesley?
Yeah, thanks.
Yep. Thanks for joining us up here on stage. Jimmy, you're up next.
Hey guys, couple questions with the swap feature. I mean, I'm assuming when you swap something, that's not going to mess up any of the current promo codes. I mean, I doubt that's going to be an issue, but I was just thinking of that as you were talking about the swaps. And then also,
Yeah, correct. That won't mess up your promos.
Has that been fixed with the loans now that you were talking about loans, as far as if you do take a loan and you have a pending promo, or are we kind of in the same boat before where you may have some issues and you just have to reach out to the loans team or whoever to check on it?
Yeah, the problem is not so much the loan; it's the fact that when you withdraw the loan, it creates a withdrawal, which cancels the promos. So, in that instance, it's really hard to get around without changing our entire system, and that's why we just have the manual fix for now. The only thing you could really do to avoid that would be to take a fiat loan, and that wouldn't cause you the issue. But if you get stable coins in the app and then you withdraw them and you have an active promo, the system will see that active promo and then cancel it because it sees a withdrawal.
Got it. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, fiat loan, there's no technical withdrawal of crypto. It's just a wire going to your account. And then one other question, Zach. I heard you talking about Platinum possibly having higher swap limits. Did you guys have any conversations yet around possibly keeping other folks Platinum that have a set amount of sell? Has any more conversations happened with that since we spoke last Tuesday?
Yeah, we just talked about that today as well, having a fixed cap of how many tokens. So, let's say you have 10,000 tokens, that will get you Platinum no matter the value of your portfolio. And I think that model is very attractive to others on the team as well. So we'll see if that gets implemented at the end of the day, but there's definitely some favor around that system so that we can create a little more stability and kind of a clearer goal instead of this floating 25% value for Platinum.
That'd be great. So it would be both, like you either have 25% of your assets or a set 10,000 or whatever it turns out to be would get you Platinum, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's the system that I like most, is having the 25% up to 10,000, let's say. So that you could, if you're a small holder, you could still get Platinum, but then once you hit that certain amount of tokens, you're Platinum no matter what. And I don't even think it has to be 10,000, but whatever number gets decided, I think that's a great, simple model to go off of.
All right. And that's so cool. So that's good to know those conversations are happening then. All right. Thanks, guys. You can drop me down, Josh.
All right. Thanks for coming up, Jimmy. Next up is Crypto Farmer.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I just have a quick question for Zach. You mentioned that with the other speaker about the credit cards. Is it going to be for everyone? Because you said it might be tied in with the loan product. Did I get that right, or did I misunderstood? Because that will take all the U.S. people out of it, right?
No, the U.S. will be the main market. I mean, plenty of people in the U.S. can use loans. There's certain states that can't, but the majority of places can use loans.
Right. Okay.
But I don't think it'll be technically a loan product, but I think we're going to be using our loan infrastructure in order to facilitate much lower interest on these credit cards.
Okay. All right. That I just wanted to get clarity. So thank you very much.
Yep. Thanks for joining us up on stage, Crypto Farmer. Next up is Matthew.
Hey, got a couple of swap questions, and was able to get in and utilize it some on the most recent dip, which was kind of fun to be able to play with it then. But is there going to be added stable coins to that? Like, thankfully, right now I have most of my stable coins in USDC, so that worked out great. But that appears to be the only one, at least when I was doing it, that was there. And I have some other stable coins on the platform that I can't tap into.
Yeah, yeah, we're going to be opening up the pairs again. I think this week we're going to be adding a few more pairs. So keep a lookout for that. But it's still in beta and still expanding. So this is not the final product by any means.
Right. Well, and on that point of it being in beta, one of the things that I noticed when I was doing it, and first of all, I try to compare it to KuCoin and Coinbase and a bunch of other Kraken, etc., and it was way better.
What kind of
price
numbers are you
wise.
seeing?
I wasn't able to do. I didn't calculate percentages, but it was a definite noticeable difference on. I think I was looking at BTC and ETH, and it was maybe 100 or more cheaper on BTC, and I don't know, between $10 and $50 cheaper on ETH. But one of the problems that I had in trying to do that is if you're swapping back into stable, it will show you a price. But if you're swapping from stable into the coin, it's say you put in 25 USDC and then you put it on ETH, all it shows you is that you're going to get 0.0002 ETH or whatever the number is.
It's showing you the
But-
amount of tokens you're going to get,
Right.
not the price. Yeah.
Correct. Whereas most platforms will show you both the amount you're going to get and what the price is. So it was really hard to compare it. I had to flip back into and try to time it, quick flip, reverse it back into stable just to compare to see what the numbers would be. So is there a way to just add that? I mean, it would seem to be a simple feature to just have the quoted price alongside the number that you're getting.
Let me add that. Let me make a note and I'll message them and say, hey, could we have the price and the amount of tokens on both sides of the trade so that people have a better understanding of the price at which they're getting it, not just the whole amount of tokens.
Yeah, and I'm sure if I had screen captured it and calculated it out, I'd have a much better answer for you on how much cheaper it was. But that was the thing I wanted to bring up, is that's what I was trying to do, and I was like, it looks cheaper, but having a hard time figuring it out. I mean, it definitely was, because I did make a purchase and compared, but it was just harder. My last question was on the on-ramp. I know it got pushed a little bit, and that's natural. Any idea, or is it just a little bit into next year, or and I know it won't be rolled out all at once, so it'll kind of be like swap, but in any
Yeah. I haven't got a hard date. I think they just started the testing. And so there was a bump in the road there, and so that kind of pushed them back. But it's still like a primary project that's being worked on right now. So I don't think it's not pushed back months. Maybe into January before they can do the next release and get some of those problems solved.
I'm just tired of waiting on Coinbase and Gemini locking up my funds for a week straight before I can get them over to you.
Yeah, no, this is a huge one. It's to be able to buy crypto for the first time, especially with swaps being so successful. It really can cut out the other platforms to a very large degree.
Yeah, but it really was pretty painless once you figured out the swap, other than the price thing. I think if the price thing gets fixed, man, the swapping was really quite, you got to be fast, but I understand why, because the price changes. But it also doesn't make you restart back at the beginning. You get to just see the price update, or the amount of coins you get update every 5 seconds or whatever it is. So it's pretty awesome for those.
Yeah, it's really a
getting
near live price. And a lot of exchanges, when they do a swap, kind of like if you just do a swap on the retail Coinbase, there's a huge amount of room that's built into that to protect themselves. And by us updating it every 5 seconds, we can do a very precise price on those assets, which I haven't heard anybody say that they've gotten a lower price somewhere else. So I really think it is you're getting the best industry price possible.
Yeah, at least the two I did, ETH and BTC, and that was definitely noticeably cheaper. All right, thanks.
Thanks for coming up, Matt, and thanks for that great feedback. Appreciate that. Bobby, what's going on? Bobby, if you're trying to speak, unmute yourself. All right, gonna move on to
There you go. I'm sorry about that, John. Yeah, I just got a quick question. Why is it important to become platinum, and what are some of the things that you can do to maintain that status? And that's for anybody who wants to speak on that.
Yeah, so being platinum is a few things. One, you're supporting the community and the community token. Two, you're able to earn up to 25% higher rates when you earn and sell. You're going to get a much higher swaps daily limit. And then you can get a discount on your loans. And then really the best utilities, I think, are still in development. Things like the credit card will give us a great platform to give additional bonus to platinum users, but that's really the main benefits of being a token holder right now.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming up and asking the question, Bobby. Next up is Fiona.
Hello there. I have two questions. The first one is, Zach, can you say roughly when you think that everybody will have been given access to swaps? Because I'm in the top 500 Cell token holders, and I've been in Celsius since the very beginning, but I'm in Australia, so I'm hoping anytime soon. And that was the first. Maybe I'll wait for the second
Yeah, we'll
question.
do one at a time. I would say probably within 90 days, everybody that we can give swaps to, as far as regulatory, will have access. It could be sooner. I've heard this week's batch is going to be quite large, but we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited for Thursday just to see all the posts of people that get access.
Excellent. Okay, well that's great. Thank you. And the other question is to you guys generally. Do you have an opinion about this discussion that is going on about Evergrande and Tether, about the fact that a lot of Tether has a lot of Evergrande paper which may not be worth anything, and it's a possibility that it could affect Tether badly?
Did Tether say that they had Evergrande paper?
That's a new one.
I don't know, but that's what the rumor is.
Oh yeah, I think they stated that they don't. And if that's true or not, you got to take their word for it. But there's been Tether FUD ever since Tether's been around, and I don't know why it's been such a home base for uncertainty and doubt, but it has been. And I remember in 2017 when I got involved, people were like saying, "Oh, Tether's gonna blow up, and then they're gonna have to sell all their Bitcoin, and it's gonna make the price go to $500." And even it even lost its peg, I think, at the end of that cycle. Went down to like 93 cents, 94 cents. But then it's been back up and running ever since. So I'd say if you're skeptical of Tether, then don't hold Tether. But I don't think it poses a systemic risk to the entire crypto ecosystem.
Oh, look, that's good to know, Zach. Thank you very much indeed. I followed a very long thread about it and ended up all depressed. So I'm glad to hear that they've actually said that they don't.
Yeah,
hold.
Don't let the FUDders get you. Like, there's a long history of Tether FUD, and it's never become anything.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Fiona, a quick question from Neville regarding your issue with getting through to the Celsius hotline phone number. Were you able to get through and chat to someone?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't. Was it you that was going to get back to me? Someone was going to get back to me, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, I got back to you and told you it was all good. I managed to call through from Australia without an issue, so.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What, you used that 1-800 that 1866 number?
Yes.
Did you dial the American number first and then that, or?
Well, you got to do +1 to get out of Australia for America, and then just
Right.
the rest of the number. So, but it definitely
Okay.
does work for Aussies. So whether your plan allows for it is another question. But I have it.
I think it was I didn't do +1.
Got to do the +1 for America.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that.
No.
All right. Good stuff. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thanks, Neville. Bye.
Yeah, we're not blocking anybody from the 1866 huddle now. So I promise you, Australians are welcome.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for coming up, Fiona, and Nev.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in and checking on her.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. I believe the Street Cynic is next.
Hey guys, thanks for this. Just had a quick question. Just in my Celsius app account, there are a few coins in which I guess I have like dust balances, like just like balances that are too small to swap away or too small to send somewhere. And I get that it doesn't really negatively affect anything. It just kind of like looks weird to me. I was just wondering, is there like an easy way to just kind of like sweep away or swap away those dust balances that I'm just kind of missing?
Not at this time. I know for some people it's an eyesore, but we pay yield on literally the smallest amount of coins. So even if you dusted it now, next week you would still get some fraction of a coin, and that's why it shows up. So right now we understand it's a little bit of an eyesore, but we're going to work on a solution that will be able to convert that down the road.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for joining us up here on stage. Tal, welcome in.
Hi, guys. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Tal.
Go ahead, Zach.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, welcome, Tal, and everybody stay out of Tal's way when she's walking through a crowd, because she is a steamroller.
Zach, I made sure you'll be safe in the Vegas environment. Someone had to take care of you, you know?
She's a wrecking ball. You don't get in the Loans Queen way, period. End of story.
Yeah, Zach's a big baby. Guys, for those of you that don't know, Tal is the Loan Queen, and she's in here with us. So make sure you're taking advantage of her. Make sure if you have any loan questions come up, you've got the best person in here to answer those questions. Turn it over to Alex. Alex, how are you doing tonight?
Well, all good, guys. I have a question for the Loan Queen, actually. So Tal, we have a history of spilling the beans here on the show. So do you have any beans to spill?
Which one, Alex? Oh my God, this is a big. You put me on the spot here.
Well, anything on like Cell Utility.
Well, we are working on Cell Utility. I really want to announce a big thing next week. But we already announced here last week that we are planning on a 0% loans for Cell token. So my big boom for next week is not a big boom anymore.
Well, there's different people on every call, so you got to remind them what you're cooking for them.
So we are waiting for final approval, but we are working on 0% loans on Cell-backed loans. So everyone who's going to take a loan against Cell token will be 0% interest. No interest. No fees, no interest. But we are still waiting for last, final approval for that. So a few more days. This is for Christmas. My gift for Christmas.
That would be beautiful. And people don't realize on 0%, it really is zero anything. There's no monthly payment. There's no hidden fee. There's no nothing. So you put that collateral up, and then you get the stable coins or fiat, and there's no repayment of anything until you close the loan, which is super, super cool.
Yeah, why people don't believe me when I say there's no payments, like there's no fees? Like they keep not believing me when I say that. 0%. No
They've
one
never
believes
had a
that.
loan. No one's ever had a loan like that before, so they can't even, conceptualize that they're paying nothing to borrow
Well,
the
most
money.
yeah, most 0% offers are limited time, right? So like, if you think of credit cards, right, they tease you with that 0% rate, and then if you hit your credit card limit or if you are late on a payment, they jack it up to 29%, right? And then you go like, you say to yourself, "Gosh, I can't believe I fell for the scam," right? So Tal, how many times did you jack the rate on people after giving them 0 or 1% rate?
Never, never, ever, ever.
I think that is even harder to believe than 0% rate.
Alex, one of our customers reached out to me today to say thank you. He wanted to stay anonymous and he didn't want me to share what he told me, but he got COVID a few months ago and he got hospitalized here in the United States. And he took a loan after he got out of it, thankfully. And he took a loan from us with 0% in California. And he just paid his med bills that were pretty high. I saw the bills. That was very intense. And doing this 0% loans, knowing we're doing something so great, it's making me, after 3 years in Celsius, still feeling like, accomplishing something that is bigger than just work. So this was today. It was a really big thing. So 0% loans, 1% loans is we're doing great. It's amazing to hear that.
Also, Tal, a question on that promotion. Are you thinking of having minimums for that cell loan deal?
No. If you're going to take a loan against Cell, it will be 25% LTV currently. We'll start with that and we'll see how we go from there. But 25% LTV will be 0% interest. So you can have $100 loan with stable coins and you're still going to get the 0%.
Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah, but let me confirm this. Like, give me a few more days and we'll be out the door.
Of course, and I've got one more question for you, Tal. Is there any retroactivity to this, like people who already have Cell token loans out?
Well, we'll have to discuss a case by case at the beginning. This is more of a manpower manual thing we will have to do. So let me start with the new ones and we'll move forward to see what we can do with the older ones. That's how we're gonna start.
Awesome. Thanks for asking the question. All right, let's get cracking into some of these other questions.
Two more things. So I was working with the team yesterday and today, and we added a bunch of people to the teams working on swaps, and so we are now activating people 3 times as fast. So I'm trying to get basically anyone who's eligible done by New Year's. So we're gonna have several 100,000 people on swaps, hopefully for Christmas and for New Year's and everything else. So if you're on this call, if you want to let everybody know, make sure you check your either your wallet or check your spam or your email, because if you some people got these emails in their spam and then they were like upset that they missed it. So you can always, if you activate it, you'll see it in your wallet, right? It will appear, the swap function will appear next to your buy button, right on the main menu, but the email should alert you to the fact that you're now active. Also, I was at our Hoboken office today, and they were issuing a $30 million loan to a sovereign fund, which is crazy, right? So we have sovereign funds now borrowing from Celsius, which is just mind-boggling, right? This was like I don't even know if I'm allowed to say, but it was like tens of millions of dollars,
Did you ever think just a year ago that would be happening, in such a short period of time?
Well, it definitely makes El Salvador look small. I can tell you that much.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing those bits with us. Scott, did you have something to add before we move on?
Yeah, speaking about loans, I was talking with our analyst, and he was mentioning how just in the past year alone, the loan numbers have ballooned and have grown so much. And he was just quoting off some numbers. I can't remember them all. We're saving them up for later to announce later. But it's just mind-boggling, Tal, the job that you've done with your team and how quickly all of you have grown so much. I remember when it was just you, and now it's you have a full team of people. So hats off to you for all the hard work that you've done.
Thanks, Scott. But to be honest, like, I was there in the beginning. Now I'm leading a team of amazing experts in the field, the people that are like, they're working 24 hours with the same vibe of all of us in Celsius. And that I can't take anything for myself. It's all about this team. This team is just incredible. Some of them are actually here on this call right now. They are amazing. I'm so grateful for having them. And and again, if I'm already having this stage, we are looking for more lending associates, people with a little bit of a financial background, people that understand loans, people that understand finance. We are growing our desks because, as you said, we have a lot of loans. We have a lot of borrowers, new borrowers, returning borrowers. So if someone have an experience and want to join the Ride of Celsius and believe in our mission, definitely just DM me your CVs and I'll make sure this is moving to the right places in our team and you get an interview. So we keep growing this team.
Awesome. Thanks for giving us that announcement, Tal. All right, I think we're ready to roll on some questions now. Alex, unless you have anything else you'd like to share.
No, all good.
All right, Kyle, are you there?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me okay?
Yep, loud and clear.
Hey, what's going on, Alex? I'm actually in upstate New York, Saratoga. I think Christy said something. I think she was around this area. She was from this area. I'm not sure. But obviously, being from New York, we've seen a pause in user signups. And I believe that was because of a custodian issue, something along those lines. Couple questions. Number one, when are signups going to be open for New York again? And number two, is Celsius acquiring a bit license for swaps? Thank you.
Yeah, so Chris is from Millbrook originally, so it's definitely upstate New York, and we live in the city obviously now, but she's definitely a New Yorker. She's not interested in moving to Florida or California or Puerto Rico or anything else. We're sticking it out in New York, and we're waiting to solve the New York State issue again with a new custodian. Again, it's not in our hands, but the minute that is resolved, then we can basically put back the services we had before. So for new users, it's paused right now, but it should be reopened next year. So I don't have a date for you yet, but again, normally, like we talked about this several times, that if you have a company or if you have an IRA, you can have those be outside of New York State, and then those can interact with Celsius. We just can't. Or if you have a second residence, right? You can always just change your residence to Pennsylvania or wherever the state you're in, and try to apply for Celsius through that.
Awesome. And are you guys acquiring a bit license right now? Because I know a lot of the crypto companies that are registered and operate from New York State, like Gemini, for an example, and Coinbase, they have a bit license so they can enable trading. Is that something Celsius is looking to get or is currently getting?
Well, so there's several ways to do this. Bit license is one of them. Gemini is a trust company, so they're they went the bit license route. We have a different corporate structure, so we are doing it through a different process. But it's basically ends up in the same place where you're either allowed or not allowed to provide the services in the state.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us up here on stage, Kyle. Next up is Craig.
Hey guys, just a couple questions. for the swaps, what's going to be reported to the IRS in the U.S.? Are we going to get a 1099?
Well, we don't really know your cost basis, so we are not. We cannot report. We only report the interest that you earned with us, the interest that we paid you. So for all the swaps and stuff like that, you're responsible to report your short-term and long-term gains. But we don't have your cost basis, so we can't do that for you.
Okay, because I know for stocks, they don't know the cost basis either, and they send out a 1099 for all sales. I guess they're not doing that. One other thing, it said the swap limit. If you go over 25,000, there's an error saying that it's going to be increased for platinum users. Do you know what that's going to be increased to?
So now that we're activating, a lot more people, we have to see if we have if we're hitting any limits. So that has to happen first. Basically, we want to activate the full Celsius community, see what the daily volume is, and then we'll start increasing the limits to platinum users. So I would wait to see. Again, if we have a lot of volume, then maybe it will go to 50,000. If we have a lot more room, then maybe we'll go to 100,000.
Got it. Last question. How does GK8 generate revenue?
So GK8 is very similar to, again, what Gemini or Coinbase do, where they basically provide custody services to larger companies that need custodians, and they charge monthly fees for that.
Got it. Awesome platform, Alex. Appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks for coming up, Craig. Matthew, did you have another question?
I did. It was partially brought up by the last speaker, but I just wanted to ask, is there anything you can do to at least provide just a list out of prices on the swaps that we could just download for our own purposes at tax time? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So we are planning to record all these transactions on the blockchain. So basically, you're gonna get not just a price, but also like a quote verified by Chainlink. So you'll get a timestamp and a price from Chainlink that is recorded on the blockchain. So you can go and verify that against anybody else to make sure that you got the best price from Celsius, and also use that to report to the IRS.
Will that also allow you to do like API, like right now with CoinTracker or whatever? It shows when I move something over from Coinbase to Celsius. Will it be able? Because right now, when I did a swap, it just kind of magically appeared and changed inside those kind of trackers using the API keys and things, without showing that it moved. If that makes sense. Is that something where you'll be able to, with what you're talking about, we'll be able to see that a little better in those API tracker type programs?
Yeah. So one of the reasons why Celsius is you get many more coins is because these are not on-chain transactions. So actually, you save the gas fees, you save all the spreads and all the other ways that all these companies make money. So you cannot just import the data from like when you move stuff from Coinbase to Celsius, that is recorded on a blockchain, right? On the Bitcoin or Ethereum blockchain or whatever. So these transactions, the swap transactions, are not, and but you'll be able to download them again from us or see them in your Rewards Explorer.
Okay, great. Well, swaps are awesome, fantastic. Been messing around with it, so thank you for doing that. But yeah, any kind of reporting stuff would nice, so that I don't get a knock on the door from a lovely IRS agent. I'd like to do what I got to do.
Yep. And again, you guys, we gave you swaps. Your job is to spread the word, right? You gotta let everybody know and invite them to come and join the Celsius community and prove to them that they do get more coins than anywhere else, right? There isn't a single service in the crypto land that gets you more coins than Celsius when you swap or when you trade. So
Matthew,
spread the word.
Matthew.
Will do. Yeah, that was it.
Okay, awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming up. Next up is Ruben.
Oh, hi. Sorry about that. Hi, Alex. I just wanted to ask, kind of a question. I was wondering if it's possible to travel to New York to tour the office and meet you.
Yeah. So right now we have a Hoboken office. We don't have a New York office, and we are. It's under construction actually because we're moving from like a shared office to our own office. So probably next year is a good time, but definitely we have New York events. We have all kind of stuff. So you can definitely come and join us in one of those.
Awesome. And where do you guys announce those events?
And we'll list them on our website. You'll see them on Twitter. We're there's a restaurant on in Bryant Park called Celsius, so we're probably gonna do the next one over there. Outdoors. So we'll see if COVID allows. We'll try to get one going for
Okay.
a winter get together.
Okay. Great. I also was wanted to ask you. I heard on the last AMA that you guys were talking about the cell token, and you guys been do anything to, um, I mean, I understand the price is not really, it's kind of hard to determine, but you guys been doing anything that will boost up the price in the cell token?
Well, we do the same thing we do every week, right? We buy tokens. How much we buy back and how much we burn has to do with how many people earn and sell, right? So, um, so the price of the cell token has to do with what the community does, not what we do. You understand? So we're just performing functions for the community. So
Okay.
we plan to launch. I think earn and sell registration starts on this Thursday. So in 2 days, people can start the accreditation process. Make sure that you're accredited, then you can start earning and sell. More people earn and sell. We have to buy more coins off the market every week, and obviously that helps Cell Token.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense. And to get accredited, are you guys still using the Bank of the Future third party?
We don't recommend any of these guys. I mean, there's several people that do accreditation, so you can use accreditedinvestor.com, I think it's called, or others, and use that for Back to the Future. But you'll be able to, again, I would just follow the form on Thursday when it publishes, and it will explain to you how to get accredited.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Alex. And just wanted to say I love what you guys do, and I think literally you guys will be the biggest bank in the world.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming up, Ruben. And since he asked the question about Cell Token, I've been hit up on the side here, Alex. Has Celsius changed its stance at all on paying fees to list?
Well, it's not that we changed or didn't change. I mean, again, the number of there's a certain, like a limited number of exchanges. It makes sense for us to list, and like I said, we're in the process of listing with all of them. So we're not. It's not like we're sitting on the sidelines or anything like that. So sooner or later, they will list. Cell Token will list. Like the more the volume we have on Cell, like trading volume, the more interested these exchanges are in listing. So because our community is a hodler community, many times, we don't have high volume of trading compared to other ones. All right, so they can't charge everybody fees. and that's what really, like, for Cell to be a very attractive listing coin or token, it needs to have more volume. That's really what the kind of like the part of the issue is. Trading volume.
Got it. Thank you for that. Colin, I believe you're up next.
Great, thank you. Hi to Zach and Josh and Alex, everybody. I've been using the cell swaps maybe about a week now. I do really love them, but I'm wondering if we have an ETA for automated swaps. I'd like to set up some dollar cost averaging on there. And some follow-up questions are really just on the side there. If we can get back the tracker for referrals in the app. And the last one would be if Alex could confirm, just out of curiosity, if he is a Chainlink hodler.
Yeah, it's a lot of questions. So the first one, what was the first one again? Sorry.
Sorry, first one's
Long
about
day.
automated swaps.
Yeah, so we don't have any automation functions right now. It's we're just trying to get the Three Amigos and other things out. So the focus is just to get core functionality and scale. Get everybody to be able to take loans on multiple assets, add more assets. So we're focused on those things. And so no plans right now for any automated functions. The Chainlink, yes, I do own some Chainlink, and I think it's a great project. Obviously, they're doing a great job. You saw recently when CoinMarketCap had some pricing issues, and it was great that Celsius relied on Chainlink, so we didn't have any pricing or execution issues. I saw some other people liquidating customers and causing all kind of havoc because Chainlink thought that Celsius, the Cell token, was worth $290,000. So that was, I think it even beat the most optimistic ones of you who predicted the price of Cell. You see, so even Otis didn't dare to say that Cell will be at 290,000.
Yeah, that was a pretty great moment. I liked seeing all of the non-Chainlink price feed services lose their mind over the high prices. Just the last thing would be if we could get back the referral tracker in the app, if you know what I mean. It's, I think, at the bottom of the community page, or it was, and now it's been missing for a while.
And if I could jump in there real quick, that's been something that I've been very interested in for my ambassadors, and so they can track their referrals as well. I've been on top of the product team, the developers. They did tell me that they are going to do that, but it's going to take time because it's not a high priority item, because our developers are spread so thin right now. So just know it is. We are trying to get that done. And I will stay on top of them personally, but it will take time for them to put it back.
Sure, I understand. Thanks for the quick answers. I can't wait for CCIP. I love the Chainlink project myself as well.
Thanks for coming up, Colin. Next up is Black Digital.
Oh, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Okay, so I have a couple questions about Songbird. I guess the airdrop had came out like a while back, and I asked about it maybe a couple months ago, and there was talks of releasing the tokens, but you guys are supposed to be working on something, and also there was another airdrop that came out with Songbird, which was called XFi. Are you guys planning on collecting any of that for your users, or are we just kind of SOL?
Yeah, so I think yesterday Fireblocks announced that they're supporting the the chain finally. So we have some good news now. We have to integrate it in, but at least we know that the wheels are turning, and the minute we finish integration, that these tokens will appear in your wallet, and you'll be able to hopefully swap them as well, or withdraw them, or do whatever you want to do with them. So that's
Okay.
the process.
Okay. So just to be 100% clear, so you will be issuing Songbird and also XFI, the EXFI token that they'll be issuing for the people who did hold Songbird. You'll be collecting all of those airdrops.
So I don't know about XFi because I know there's several airdrops. I'm not sure about all of them. There's
Okay.
one happening now, right? All these things are based on XRP snapshots, not on Songbird snapshots. So, like, it
Not
really
no, not necessarily, sir. So the Songbird airdrop was based on or the XFi airdrop was based on Songbird, not on the XRP one. But Songbird did come from the XRP airdrop. For all the exchanges that were willing to collect those, they said that they would be distributing XFi to them. But the ones who don't participate, they're basically going to burn the tokens. So I hope Celsius would do his due diligence and reach out and try to collect those, so we're not, because the tokens weren't distributed on time, as far as allowing us to do our part in collecting them.
Yeah, we have to check and see if we're supporting the second one. I think there's another XRP airdrop that's happening like next week or something.
Sologenics.
Yeah.
There's a Sologenics, and there's the Songbird, Flare.
Yeah. So
and
solo,
then,
the solo one is the one I'm talking about, where it's XRP snapshot. So we are supporting that, but obviously only to people who have their XRP with Celsius. So we'll be announcing when these things take place. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for coming up, Black Digital. Next is Bymask.
Oh, hey, Alex. Thanks so much for all you do. I'm a proud Cell Token holder. I had a couple of questions about Cell Token. I listen to your AMAs, always delighted to hear kind of what's going on with the business. And you comment on Cell Token often because that's a question in tokenomics. I had actually watched you on an Invest Answers video on YouTube with James, and kind of a obscure reference from a previous AMA, but Alex, you were referencing the Cell tokenomics, and you had said that you respect the work that James does, but he didn't get something related to the Cell token that's held in the treasury. And it's not about James. My question is relative to when you're thinking about how people I guess have misconceptions in this case about valuing Cell properly. What was your point, or I don't know if it makes sense. What do you think about when you say that perhaps people don't fully understand the circulating supply versus what's in the treasury, and I guess weighing it properly?
Yeah. So I talked about it also. I think it was a previous AMA, not the last one, but the one before. I think the whole AMA was about Cell token, and what it's not just James. I mean, I think it's a lot of people, because every other project basically relies on their treasury to distribute to the community. It doesn't matter if it's Cardano or Crypto.com or Voyager or Polkadot or Matic or whatever. Without exception, all these projects, when you get tokens, they come from treasury and they go to you. You think it's yield, but really it's inflation. So meaning the circulating supply is increased every month or whatever the distribution cycle is. And even though you got some tokens, the number of token circulation is increasing, meaning there's inflation, right? And everybody assumes that all the tokens work the same way because every one of the DeFi tokens, every one of these blockchains like Polkadot, Cardano, Solana, all of them work exactly the same way. But Celsius alone is the only project that doesn't work that way. And that's where people don't understand. Like people are confused because they think, well, how can it be that Celsius is the only one doing it differently, right? So we don't touch. We actually, if you check our wallets, our treasury wallets, they increased, right? Like whatever, a week ago, I announced that, for example, we closed a loan, like Tal closed a loan for a customer, and we bought all of his tokens. How many tokens were that, Tal? 12 tokens. How many
I heard
millions?
that
How many millions of tokens did we buy?
like 100, $200 million. It was a crazy amount of dollar of. I tried
So
to forget
we
this day. It was a crazy day,
so
Alex.
we took all these tokens from circulation and put them back on treasury. That's the opposite of what every other project does. So my point is that people don't understand that because no one does it. So they're like, so they assume that Cell Token behaves the same way. It has the same inflation that every other project has.
Right. So that would appear to be the biggest misconception, because that was my second question, which I didn't know kind of lead me this way. But based on how you just described it, to me, I'd probably say that's the biggest misconception. But I wanted to ask you, what do you think is the biggest or a primary misconception about the tokenomics of the Cell token, other than what you just shared?
So the business model of every DeFi project is we're gonna throw tokens on people or coins. They're gonna show up because they're gonna want the yield, and the price of the token is gonna go up because all these people are gonna show up, right? So the demand for the token is gonna increase, and the prices are gonna go up, and we, the founders, are gonna dump on the community while the price is going up, and then we don't care what happens. So 3 months, 6 months, 9 months into the project, what you see is the prices start to go down. Everybody starts dumping. Everybody leaves the project, and they hop to the next thing, right? They go from Uniswap to SushiSwap to some other swap, right? Hop, 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 right? Because none of these projects are trying to build long-term token economics. They're all basically just trying to steal liquidity from somebody else, steal a volume from somebody else, dump on the community, and move on. The three founders of Celsius still hold 90% or more of their tokens after 4 years. So show me another project in which the founders are not dumping on their community. I'm not talking about 4 months. I'm talking about 4 years. Right?
Yeah.
So obviously we're building something very long term. And a lot of people don't understand it, but it's fine. It doesn't matter for me if they understand it, they don't understand it. We are launching a few things. Like one of them is Celsius X, right? Celsius X is using Cell Token in it for almost all activities. And all these people are going to show up and basically going to be like, just like you guys are doing swaps right now. Imagine if you can do swaps across all these blockchains. So instead of just doing swaps inside the Celsius wallet, you can swap on any blockchain across all blockchains. Is that a useful feature?
Absolutely.
I
wonder.
How about no fees?
Yeah, it's remarkable.
So my point is, every transaction like that is going to require Cell. You cannot do that transaction without Cell.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then everybody's going to show up, and they're all going to be like, okay, well, I need some Cell token. Where do I get it?
So one last question, if I may, which is just talking about the idea of community tokens and essentially what Cell token is. And I know you've been on Real Vision and that sort of thing. So I know Raoul Pal talks about the tokenization of everything and how community tokens are going to create more value and remarkably more value than I think we're prepared to fully understand because it's new. And so I can see that the Cell token obviously has a long way to go, in my opinion. But when I look at, and I'm still learning, and I listen to a lot of AMAs, but I'm sure I've missed things you said. So, forgive me. But when you think about, the value of the Cell token over time, I understand the flywheel. Certainly, I understand the value of the community, holding, hodling the Cell token, and then also using it for utility, within the whatever you call it ecosystem with Celsius X and other things that are coming about. But if you were to try to maybe if it's just the flywheel, that's fine. But just a way to explain, how you see the value coming together over time. Do you think it's a combination of just growing the user base from 1 million to 10 to 100 million plus Celsius X? Is there something else you think is going to be introduced that's going to add, even more value to the token in the community?
Well, let me ask you, how many Coinbase customers do you think are going to continue paying 5, 6, 7% to Coinbase if they can swap for free on Celsius?
Oh, no one. I mean, obviously.
Right? Well, how many FTX customers are going to do that?
Yeah, not a one.
How many Crypto.com customers do you think are going to continue doing that?
I agree. I mean, I have crypto token, and then once the lockup's done, I'm going to sell it and buy, sell, and that's where I'm at. So
we're just now launching it, right? It took us longer than expected. We're cranking it up. People are finding out about it. They're telling their friends. A lot of people are not going to believe it. They're going to be like, I don't believe it. They must be charging you something else. And then one by one, they're all going to discover that there is a way to buy tokens or coins without paying any fees, right? But you can only do it inside the Celsius system. And you need to have, like, if you want to buy any substantial amount, you need to have platinum status. You need Cell token for that, right? So all these things tie together. So it's just starting. We have less than 30,000 people activated, right? By the end of the year, we'll have several 100,000 people activated, right? This several 100,000 people are going to tell all their friends, right? And so you have to decide, like, how big of an issue, how big of a thing is this? I can tell you every one of our competitors is relying on one thing, charging fees. We don't rely on any fees. So what do you think is going to happen when this is available globally to everybody at scale? How many people are going to continue giving all these guys all these fees? Billions of dollars in fees so they can put their names on stadiums.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So all I'm saying is we're not in a hurry. We're not chasing. We're not like trying to get there quickly so we can dump on the community, right? So if you're in a hurry and you wanna, you wanna farm as fast as possible and hop to the next thing and hope that you're not gonna get wrecked or have a have a rug pull or have a flash loan crash or whatever. We are the turtle. We're not trying to be the, we're happy being a turtle. Now everybody's going to quote me on that. Everybody's be like, Alex said he's happy that he's a turtle.
Fastest turtle I know. But thanks, Alex. I really appreciate you taking the time to answer my question.
It's happening. Believe me, it's a swell. It's happening.
I see it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming up, by Mask. Next up is 3C. If you're speaking, you have to take yourself off mute.
Hi, Alex. How are you?
All good. How are you?
Very good. So I'm a dad of 6 as well.
All right.
And I got 3 questions for you. So my first 3 questions is, my dad of 71 got into crypto this year. What do I put him into safely? Because I don't want his risk to be mine,
Yep. Well, again, I think all the people want income, right? So I would put some of it in stable coins, and obviously you need to give them some exposure to Bitcoin. So I would just stick to those two assets, right? And you can decide how much of each. But if you want to throw in some Ethereum, fine. But I wouldn't take any risk on all the high flyers or NFTs or anything like that. Stick to the
So,
basics.
so I put him into Shiba Inu way back when. He made
Yep.
$3,800 in like months. He's like, Dino, I need to learn more.
Well,
So
again, there's a difference between being lucky and being able to do that every time, right? So you got lucky.
Right.
Now you
And
got to switch it over to something more stable, right?
Right. So I said to my dad, I'm like, Dad, sell now. Let's get you some coins that actually will make you money in the long term. He's like, Dano, I don't want to sell this. I'm like, great. Keep 10 million in this project, but let's branch your opportunities into things that will actually make you money in the future. I would love Sell to be open to swaps to everyone. And I know you're doing the best you can to do that. But my
Well,
dad,
again, if he's accredited on Thursday, he can register to earn and sell, right? So you can basically you can buy sell token right now. If you're accredited, you can buy sell token right now, OTC at Celsius.network, right? Or you can register on Thursday to start earning in sell token if you're accredited.
so my next question would be to you, how do I get accredited? Because I'm a peon.
But
in
buy some
the-
Shiba Inu. That's how you get accredited. No, just kidding. That was a joke.
So
no one is laughing. No, accredited. Look,
I thought that's how you got unaccredited, was buying Shiba Inu.
yeah,
Oh.
you get accredited and unaccredited very, very quickly, both on the same
Right.
day, probably.
Yeah, almost in the same hour.
Yeah. So again, if you have more than $1 million in liquid assets, meaning not your home, or you're earning more than $200,000, then you're accredited. If not, you cannot. You
Can
have
you
to
take a
find.
test?
I don't think you have to be affiliated with like a broker dealer to take a test. Yeah.
So I was pretty sure I could take a test and be accredited at the end
If you're
of
affiliated with a broker dealer, yes.
it.
It's
How's the
not
broker
simple.
dealer work?
Yes, it's not simple.
Oh,
Yeah, we looked into that to see if it was possible, and it's not. You have to be a part of a registered investment company and all kinds of other stuff. So really, for individuals, it's either have the $1 million in liquid assets, or 200,000 a year for the last 2 years in income.
okay. That was my biggest question was if I can take a test and be that person.
You already
I
failed
win.
the test. You bought Shiba Inu, so you already failed it.
I made $24,000 in Shiba Inu.
I'm kidding.
But Alex, that was my first like real test in the crypto market. So
No, I
she
hear you.
did me
Listen.
well.
Now put it in stuff that earns you yield. Okay, so put like half in stable coins and half in Bitcoin. All right.
I'm not a stable coin type of guy. I like the
8.5%
high
interest.
reward guy.
You should be an 8.5% interest guy.
So I love the 10% interest that you give me on a lot of my stable coins, but I'm the high risk, high reward guy.
I understand. Look, in an up market, everybody is a genius and everybody is a super trader, right? But in a
Right.
down
And
market,
I'm neither one of them, Alex. I'm a plumber. I just put a bunch of money into a lot of different projects and hope for the best. 6 will fail, 6 will win. I outweighed my loss. That's a great deal. You know,
In a down market, 12 out of 12 are going to lose money for you. Okay, so
I'll learn that
right
someday.
now it's an up market and everybody's giddy and everybodydy's winning. Right?
Right.
It's like you go to Vegas with your buddies and every round you get you know
Of red.
you get 21 every round. Okay, and you
Right.
start thinking, gosh, this will never end, but it ends. So all I'm saying to you is take some of these profits and put them into things that you're not going to touch. Okay,
Just like we did in Vegas, right? We had a good run at blackjack and we took that
What
money
I
and ran.
shouldn't touch and what I need to touch right now.
emergency money. Treat your Celsius account as your emergency money, and always, as the more you win, the more you put aside, and you forget about it. You don't touch it.
No. So
You
my
don't play with
whole
it.
Celsius account is I don't care if it gains or loses because that's not even an emergency account. That's my retirement.
Well, with 6 kids, there is no retirement. You're gonna have to work till
The hell I will.
Don't you know that? You know it.
Alex, with 6 kids, I work 7 days a week, but they're awesome. They're healthy. They're awesome kids. And my 15-year-old son just built his first NFT. Just for fun, He did that all on his own.
No, I hear you. Well, we're still, pun intended, we're still working on our plumbing to get all of our plumbing done right before we can go big.
And I'm the big go big or go home guy,
Yep, I hear you.
So, Alex, you've done a great job. My dad loves you. He's 71. He has no idea, but he loves the unbank yourself mentality. And he doesn't even understand cryptocurrencies. He owns 72 of them. Not sure why.
Well,
but
get a huddle shirt on him and let's teach him how to huddle. Okay?
He's literally, out of all of his cryptocurrencies, he put all of his money back in the bank, which he should do. But he owns all of his crypto for free at this point. And he's like, this is great,
Yep.
Very nice. Did you have any further questions, or did that conclude them, 3C?
That's it.
Thank you for coming up. Appreciate it. Oscar, I believe you're up next.
Hi, Celsius team. Hi, Alex.
Hi.
Oscar, are you there? He's been having difficulty with his
He just
connection.
wanted to say hello. That was all.
He's been having difficulty. He's been going on and off stage here for a little bit. I'm going to pivot over to Mio Fukia.
It's like half of the people are calling our call center. They just call, say hello, and then they tweet, say, I just called the call center. It's actually real. They actually answer the phone.
Yeah, you got to test it. Mio, are you there? If you're trying to speak, unmute yourself. Otherwise, I'm going to pivot to the next person. All right, JR, you're up next.
Hey, Alex, how's it going?
Good.
I just
How are
have
you?
a quick question. Pretty good. Thanks for asking, buddy. I've actually been commenting all over Celsius Twitter account, and I've actually sent you a private message, and it was brought up earlier, but I came on towards the end of it. You mentioned something about being available in New York, I think. That's my biggest question. Is there any update, or do we know when we're going to be in New York, where I can actually go onto the app and do what it is that we old Celsians love to do?
Yeah, so again, we don't have a reopening date yet. We're waiting for the new custodian to integrate with us. But in the meantime, again, if you have a second residence, you can use that. Or if you have a company that is based in Delaware or whatever, then you can use that as well, right? You can open accounts for those, and they will not be treated as a as New York entities.
So I called into your the hotline, and I did ask them about that because I do have a second residence in Connecticut, and they said that it goes off the cellular tower connection, and if they see that my device isn't located at that address, then it won't work because
Well,
I actively am in New York.
if you only in New York, then it will block you. But if you get out of state and you go to your other residence, it will work in that residence.
Gotcha. Okay. Any
You have to
date
get
you're
out of
thinking,
New
though?
York once in a while, like the birds. You got to fly to Miami. You got to fly to, you can't just stay in New York all day long.
Yeah, now with this COVID stuff, definitely want to go to Miami. That's true.
They have more COVID there than here, so.
But it's not as strict as over here. These guys want you to.
That's why they have more
full
COVID than
armor.
us.
Yeah, that was my only question. Thanks for answering, and I hope you guys have happy holidays.
Yep, you too.
You too, JR. Thanks for coming up. Nane, I think you're up next.
Hello, I've literally got 4 minutes before I got to run back to work. Thanks for letting me up. Alex, nice to meet you. I'm really interested in your knowledge and perspective on how many institutional loans you give out that are purely for Bitcoin trading. I've been reading a lot about macroeconomics and what the adoption curve will look like in terms of when the very fragile banking system starts to fall down a little bit, with then the inevitable network effect over into the cryptocurrency space. Do you foresee a change in the way that institutional lending happens when that shift happens on a societal financial level? What do you think that will look like on the institutional lending side of things for Celsius?
Well, we are still in a very fast growing market, so most institutions do not have a crypto desk yet, right? So we are opening new counterparties, new institutions, sovereign funds, like I mentioned, both as clients and as borrowers all the time. So for us, it's not I don't see any point of exhaustion where we are like exhausted all of the borrowers or customers or anything like that. So we're just the beginning of the road here. And Celsius raised the most money, has the strongest balance sheet, the least amount of bad debt or liquidations. I think we sustained. We went through 2 stress tests, right, in 2020, 2021, and I think
I was Celsian for those.
Right. So you did better if you went through those with Celsius than if you were an Exo customer or BlockFi customer or anything like that, right? They just liquidated people left and right. So we've proven again and again that we're always acting in the best interest of the community. We're here to help our community instead of grab their coins. And that's where we build our trust, right? So again, all the work that Tal is doing, right? 0% loans, 1% loans. No one is doing that, right? No one has paid their community $1 billion. So all these things together are really what is the strength of our community. It's not like the institutions are going to show up and suddenly you're going to see an ad from Fidelity or from whatever State Street, and you're going to go like, oh, forget it. I'm not using Celsius anymore. I want to pay some fees and go back to one of those guys. So we set a new standard, right? I mean, and it's basically forcing everybody else to follow us, right? You're seeing all these offerings. They're all competing or trying to compete with Celsius, and now we raise the bar even more with swaps, right? I don't see anyone competing with Celsius on swaps. Everybody's just scratching their head and thinking, oh, it's probably a gimmick. Celsius would just offer it for a little bit and then they'll start charging fees just like us. But that's not what we're going to do, right? We're giving swaps for free, right? Trading for free.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That answers my question very much. I got to run, but I really appreciate it.
You got to run back to work. Yep.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks for coming in, Nene. Get back to work. Jamie, you're up next.
Hey, Alex. I was just thinking, as the company scales, would Celsius ever consider incentivizing liquidity provision by allowing people to farm sell tokens?
By allowing people to do what with Cell?
So, if people add liquidity, they would be able to farm the Celsius token. Would Celsius ever consider doing that?
Well, when you stake with us, you're already farming it, right? So like we're paying 5.1%. That's effectively farming Cell token. But again, with Celsius X and other things we're launching, we're going to be adding many more utilities for Cell token. So these are all new things. As we committed, we'll be publishing more and more things we're planning to do with Cell. So like you heard Tal working on a few things. We have other people. Tushar was talking about some of the Cell utilities that he's planning to do in the last AMA. So we have many people in different departments, all focused on adding Cell utility, which will create more demand, which will, together with us burning and buying back all these tokens, will create much more scarcity in the market. So again, we're doing it in a sustainable and continuous way, while many other people are trying to create again short-term momentum so they can dump on their communities. So you just have to decide what do you stand for and what you believe in, because for a lot of these projects, if you get in on the right time, it's amazing, right? You get in, it goes up, you make some money. But if you get in at the wrong time and they all dump on you and you lose half of your money, it doesn't feel so good, right? So we rather make it in a very sustainable way and make sure that we bring the whole village with us, all the Celsians together with us. And again, you can watch our wallets and see if we're selling or we're not selling. So you know if we're believing in it or we don't believe in it.
Brilliant. One more question.
You're breaking up. I can't hear you.
From the UK.
You broke up. I didn't hear a question.
I think I heard him say, when will Celsius be opening up to the UK?
Yeah, so again, swaps are available in the UK right now. Okay, we opened that up. We're activating more and more people every day. As far as new users, we are waiting for some more things to be able to open. I said by the end of the year, I'm hoping that we will be opening it early next year. So that's still the plan.
He ended up falling from stage, but thank you for answering that, Alex. We'll move on to the next person. Jason, you're up next.
Hi, guys. Good evening, Alex. Happy holidays and everything. My question was, with Celsius X, will we be able to wrap to and from other wallets on different chains?
So when you wrap an asset, you can move it anywhere you want. It doesn't have to stay on the Celsius wallet. So if you wrap something on, you basically move the value to Cardano. You can take it and put it on some other protocol, right? It's not on Cardano, or you can move it and do something else with it. So these assets are not intended to stay in the Celsius wallet. The whole point is to activate new functions and allow developers and other partners to create a variety of different things that really are very hard to do these days.
Now, what about bridging? Say, I want to bridge my cell from I bought on the Polygon chain and Dharma back to Celsius. Would that be possible through Celsius X?
Yeah. So basically, when you take it on Polygon and you say I want it on Ethereum, it will just appear on Ethereum. And then you can take it to Uniswap, or you can swap with it inside the wallet. You can do whatever you want, right? It's instant, right? It's not a blockchain transfer. It's instant wrap version of the. In this case, you will get native Cell on Ethereum.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, because that's what I've been doing. I just while you started talking, I bought another bag of some Cell token over there.
Yep. So that's coming mid-February.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming up, Jason. Next up is Pete.
Good evening. Season's greetings to everyone. Alex, quick question on risk management. Lessons learned regarding Badger. Your insight on what actually happens to that bad actor's wallet? How is that monitored? And finally, I know you had a tweet this week about the way the Celsius community can help with the Badger DAO suggestions for recouping.
Yeah, so I think you saw they published. Obviously, it's not just us that got hurt; other people got hurt too. But the good news is, again, they have a very large treasury that includes also, I think it's like over $50 million worth of Bitcoin and other assets. I think it's like 200 million all in. So they're committed to provide restitutions, not just to us, but to other people who got hurt. So we're working with them on a resolution that's gonna. I mean, the funny thing is that Celsius paid to the community, but Nexus Mutual, which is supposed to be decentralized, didn't pay. So CeFi pays, DeFi doesn't pay, right? Isn't that hilarious? So, and we've been saying that for a long time, right? That at Celsius it doesn't matter what happened, right? The community, the whole point of Celsius is that you don't need to worry, you don't need to decide what is a good project, what is a bad project. We did a lot of hard work up front, and even though there was an exploit here, we made sure that we worked with a project that had enough assets on their balance sheet, so if something happened, we would be able to recover and we wouldn't just get blown out of the water, right? So, but in either case, it does not affect the Celsius community, right? So we're working with them. We're working with law enforcement to obviously recover the stuff, and we'll update you guys when we have some news. Right now, you can see there are several proposals on how they're going to provide restitution, and we are working with Badger and the community on that.
Excellent, thank you. And if I if I'm unable to join over the next couple of weeks, all the best to everyone in the new year, and Malanka, to you and your family. Take care.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Thanks for coming up, Pete.
Hello.
Aurora, you're up next. Go ahead, Aurora.
Hello. I have some questions. I had lately like a problem with my account. I had somebody had put my account on hodl mode, and I don't know how to get it out. I have sent the Celsius like the email like 2 times, and the hodl mode is still not off my account. It's like about 8 days ago.
If you didn't get a response, you can call the 1-866 HODL now, and just talk to an agent 8 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, right? So I don't know what country you're calling from, but basically in a few hours you should be able to talk to somebody. So in like 10 hours you can talk to somebody and see what's going on there.
Okay, thank you. But I'm not from the USA. I'm from the Netherlands, so the time's it's like not the same. Like now it's like 4 o'clock
I know
night.
that's what I'm saying. 10 hours from now we open, the call center, and you can call from Netherlands +1 866 and hodl now. Okay, you can look at the spelling of the letters.
They're
Okay.
actually open now. He
Oh,
can
right.
call
They're
right now.
open till 11. You can call them now for the next 15 minutes. I forgot.
Okay, thank you. I will try.
All right.
Thanks for coming up,
See,
Aurora.
even I'm not used to call centers being open till 11 o'clock at night. Thanks, Scott. You saved me here.
Anytime.
Zahari, you're up next.
Hey, Alex, question for you on GUSD. I took you guys up on your recent offer. And now that I have the swap, I wanted to try that out, and I noticed I can't swap any GUSD to anything. Is that something that's going to be an ongoing restriction, or will that change?
No, we're opening these things slowly just to make sure that we have everything working right. So I think the first launch was 4 or 5 coins, but it's definitely going to be expanded to basically almost everything. There are some geographical restrictions. So again, if you travel, just check it out in other jurisdictions and see it might work somewhere else. So I don't know the details of what's allowed when. I mean, obviously the states have been going crazy, blocking things, or we're trying to restrict things. So if you're in Texas, it might not work or whatever.
Yeah, it's a California deal. And then I had one other question. You had started talking about the utility of the cell token, and I know that you guys are also working pretty closely with Chainlink, and that's another project with a ton of utility. It seems like tokens with a high degree of utility, that with quite a bit of value locked, are underperforming. I just wanted to know if you had any thoughts about that.
Well, I think it's not an issue of underperforming. I think some of the projects that are pumping or pimping their tokens are just doing it very, very aggressively, and companies like us or Chainlink are just not. We don't do that, right? You're not going to see us trying to go and sign up every person to buy sell token, right? So we're not. You either get it or you don't get it, right? And again, we want to win it by, just like Chainlink, we want to win it through increased utility and increased value creation, long-term thinking, instead of trying to create short-term momentum and hope that a lot of people pile into the token. So I don't think that it has anything to do with value locked or whatever. It has to do with how much hype. Like Solana has tremendous amount of hype. Celsius has almost 4 times as much locked value as Solana. So we are 4 times bigger than Solana. Does anyone
So
care?
it sounds like it's a market maturity thing, and it's a good opportunity for us to accumulate and hodl. I appreciate that feedback.
Thanks for coming up, Zahari. I think we got someone here in the chain. While we're waiting for this person to connect, reminder to the group, if you guys have any questions, feel free to tap on the mic and join us up here on stage. Do any of my co-hosts have any questions or have been hit up on the side that they can relay to Alex?
Most of the questions I've gotten have all been addressed today. So, no, we all did a great job.
The person is not connecting for some reason, but Oscar, have you gotten a better signal now?
I think so. Sorry about that. I have 2 questions. One is when will the swap functionality be able, or be when will the swap functionality work for Mexico? And the other question is Celsius willing to list Solana?
Yeah, so we definitely gonna add Solana. And just we have to finish the technical integration, so it's coming soon. And swaps are being opened internationally in many countries. I don't know specifically about Mexico or you specifically. It's not open to everyone. There are some restrictions, but it's definitely opening up. Again, this week we're opening, like I said before, 3 times as many people. So instead of like 20,000, maybe 60,000 people will be open. And we added a lot of people to that team to be able to do it quicker and try to get basically almost everyone who's eligible to be open by the end of this year.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much and happy holidays.
Yep. Feliz Navidad.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming up, Oscar. Glad you got that sorted out. Chris, you're up next.
Hi guys, I was actually wondering if there was any update on the 0% interest loans in the state of Arizona. Apologies if you talked about that earlier, but I joined just maybe 20 minutes ago.
So we currently, again, the program we are working on for 0%, the next program will be sell-backed loans. So it should be, again, it really depends on each jurisdiction's guidelines, but it should be across the board. Specifically in Arizona right now, there's not a plan for 0% loan. Other than that, also we have different restrictions in Arizona. So if you want to know a little more, just reach out to the team and ask them, because the guidelines there are a slight difference when it comes to loans.
Great, thanks for your help with that. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming up, Chris. Just a reminder to the group, if you have any questions, tap on the mic, come on up. Give a few seconds. Stefan, welcome up. Stefan, unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Hey, everyone. Glad to be on the call. I have a particularly tricky situation where I work part of the year in Germany and part of the year in Canada, and I am a Canadian citizen, but because I tried to open an account to Celsius while I was in Germany, I was blocked from doing so. Is there anyone I can talk to about that? Because the only option in Germany is a bank, and the offerings are not nearly as attractive as just being able to use the Celsius network app.
Yes, you can just use a different email and open a new profile and use your Canadian address. So I would just not. It's easier probably to just create a new account than to reconfigure the old account.
Okay, sounds good.
But if you're insisting on using the old one, then just again reach out to the call center. Again, they're open for the next 40 minutes, right? And just talk to them, and they'll help you fix stuff.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Thanks for coming up, Stefan. Ruben, you're up next.
Oh, hi, Alex. Again, sorry. I wanted to ask you real quick regarding the different assets listed on Celsius. Thinking of it as a bank, would it be ever possible, like, to get assets added on Celsius, like, on a faster pace and as much as we can? Like, for me personally, I'd like to have all my assets on there earning interest. Is that something in the works, or you guys have to like add one by one? And would that be more of a streamline, or how would that work?
Well, I mentioned that one of the reasons we bought GK8, which is like Fireblocks, a custodian, is to double the speed at which we're adding things, and basically add things that maybe Fireblocks is slow to add. Like, now they did Songbird, they did Solana, but we had to wait a long time, right? So we could have done those things faster if we had GK8 already integrated with us for a while. So we're going to be adding two things. We're going to be adding more coins and tokens that earn yield, right? So maybe double that list. So go from whatever 45 to maybe 80 or 90, and then add few hundred tokens and coins that don't earn yield. Meaning, now that you have swaps and you can do loans and all kind of other stuff, you'll be able to have all your coins in one place, even if they don't earn yield. You'll be able to swap in and out, no fees. So there's a lot of other benefits of using Celsius, right? Today we're not really enabling any non-yielding assets, but that's what's going to change in 2022. So the big push is going to be to add many new coins and tokens that we don't have right now.
Yeah, because it's not only for the reason of earning yield on it, but since you guys are going to be becoming a centralized exchange with the swaps, it will be kind of nice to have those assets on there so we could swap them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay, and the other question I had was, is Celsius doing any kind of a marketing campaign or planning for one, as far as trying to get more word out there? And
yeah, so we're hiring people to our marketing team. We obviously, one of the reasons we raised the 750 million was to increase our marketing spend. We just don't plan to do it the way the other guys do it, right? We don't plan to give that money to rich people who own stadiums or basketball teams or famous Hollywood stars. So you'll see us do things differently, and all that is in the works. And I hope you're gonna like it.
Great, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Alex.
Yep.
Nomad Dan.
Hey, Alex.
Hold on one second, bloggers. Ruben, thanks for coming up, and bloggers, you are up next. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, Alex. I just want to say about price of the sales. How is possible after all great things and works you do in this year? How is right or impossible to price of the sales be $3? Thank you.
Well, I think we mentioned that we had one very large seller, right? There's somebody who bought the tokens for less than 20 cents, and he was selling. I know a lot of people accused me and Nuke, but it wasn't me or Nuke. It was a very large seller, and a few weeks ago we decided to just buy their entire position, so they're not selling anymore. So I don't think there's going to be as much selling pressure on Sell Token. Now the question is how many new people and existing people are going to earn and sell. Again, we're opening up earn and sell in the US on 2 days from now, and we're going to be activating a lot of these people to earn and sell, which means we have to buy more sell, and so on. So you'll see what happens, right? You can watch it daily. Every week we publish the numbers, and you can decide for yourself if we're going in the right direction or not.
Bloggers, did that help your answer there?
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, thanks for coming up. Tony, you're up next. Tony, unmute yourself if you're trying to speak.
There we go. Hear me now?
Yep.
Thank you. Alex, I had a question about borrowing and loan-to-value loans. Pretty much, is there a function that can be built into the platform or another way of going? For example, if you take a loan at 25% or 33% LTV, and then the market moves and you have excess collateral, is there a function or a way to request for some of the collateral to be, taken back from the credit line?
So you do have the option today already. We call it reverse margin call, and all you need to do is to write to the loans team at loans@celsius.network and ask them for a reverse margin call. They will send you back all the information on when we are doing it and what the guidelines are. But basically, the team is taking care of it twice a month. And that's it. It's very simple. We are working on doing it in-app request. It's just going to take a little more time because of development resources. But right now, it is something you can do already.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thanks for coming up, Tony. Alex, looks like we've dried up the questions again. Do you want to maybe do closing thoughts? I think.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of questions to Tal about loans. So let's just do another round. See if anyone, if you want to ask about use cases, you want to ask about why you should take a loan. What other people are taking loans for. I mean, again, you have the queen right here, and you are asking me questions. You should ask her questions. So let's see if anyone has loan questions for Tal.
Sure. Cellcat, welcome up.
Hey, sorry, I didn't have a loan question. Did someone else want to go then?
We take any questions, even if it's not a loan one. Don't worry about it.
So I guess whoever knows anything about this, but there was we were in like a Celsius X Twitter Spaces a while ago, and they hosted that, and one of the devs was talking about how this it's got a lot of opportunity for the future of Celsius potentially becoming more decentralized. Can anyone speak on that? If Celsius, I know that we do function on 16 different blockchains already, which is phenomenal. Is that a goal of Celsius to become more decentralized over time?
Yeah, so I think, I was at the DeFi Con, which is a conference here in Brooklyn over the weekend. And it was obvious from that conference, a few hundred people there, that DeFi is becoming much more centralized because they need some of the centralized functions. And you're seeing Celsius becomes more decentralized, right? So a lot of the services we provide in Celsius X are fully decentralized services. They're using some of our centralized infrastructure, but they're fully automated. They're based on native chains. They provide wrapping and unwrapping services. They basically create the same thing that Uniswap, Aave, and other people do, right? So it's all the stuff many of us are used to. And so again, I think the future is much more. I don't see competition between DeFi and CeFi. I mean, I think the competition is with TradFi and bringing people from TradFi to getting them unbanked. So I think when we launch these things, a lot of pure DeFi people who have high fees and have bugs and whatever are going to go native just like Celsius. So it's just a question of what is safer, what is more scalable, what is better for the customer. It's not about DeFi or CeFi.
Absolutely perfect, and that's why I invested in the best, man. Invested in you. You guys are changing the world. So thank you for all you guys do, and keep it up.
Thanks for your support.
Thanks for coming up, Cellcat. Ruben, you're up next. Ruben, unmute yourself.
Sorry, I have a question for Tal regarding loans. If I borrow against one of my assets, do you guys have any kind of restrictions if I use the borrowed money to purchase additional assets within the app?
Yeah, so you should and I say to everyone, right, when you take a loan, when you sign on any agreement, you should definitely review the T's and C's before you take the loan, and review the restrictions of what you can do with a loan and what you should not do with a loan. Everything should be there based on your jurisdictions, based on when you are. That's the T's and C's. Okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Of course.
Thanks for coming up, Ruben. Otis, what's going on, man?
Hey, I have a loan question. Hi, Tal. How are you?
Hey, Otis, what's up?
Not much. Hey, Alex. Don't have a question for you tonight.
Hi.
Lucky me today.
Yeah. So let's say you take a large loan. Let's see. Let's use a number. Let's use $200,000, and you break your loan down into, some are $25,000 loans, some are 5,000, some are 15,000. And let's say by the time you're done, I don't know, you have 15 separate loans. You take small loans that you can pay them back over time. You don't take one giant loan. And because you wanted to do a project, you wanted to have all of those funds wired to your account, not a stable coin, wired to your bank account.
Hmm.
Is that possible?
Yeah, of course. You're asking if you can take multiple loans and send them to your bank account in different wires and.
No, just one wire. You
Yeah,
take
we can do.
multiple loans and
Well,
then
we
put
usually
them at
actually
one
do.
chunk.
We actually do. If you give us the same bank information, we usually send it in one big chunk as a wire, right?
That's
Remember,
what I'm
because
asking.
we're paying the bank fees at the end of the day if
That's what
we're
I'm staying
trying
away
to
from.
avoid it. So
In this case, it wouldn't. Stable coins is the better option, but because it'll be used for something very, very specific, and there needs to be, nice record keeping. Don't want to go through Coinbase.
yeah, definitely.
I want to.
Listen, a lot of people needs to pay their dollar bills, and they ask for dollar loans. That's one of the reason we lowered the minimum of dollar loans to $1,000 from 5,000 last week. So definitely, I will suggest that if you are planning on taking a few loans at the same day, to reach out to our team and let them know you're planning this and the reason for it. Because there's when we see multiple loans coming in from the same user, we sometimes think there's a mistake, and the
I spoke to
user.
James already.
Yeah,
I spoke to James Hobson already.
wonderful. So just making sure
So
that
James and
we know
I,
in advance about it.
yeah, I would never, James and I spoke, and we're on the same page, and we have a call actually when he gets off of vacation.
That's wonderful, great, and you know
Yes,
where to
and he's
find
going to
us.
incorporate the loan team. Yes. Thank you
Perfect.
so much. Good
Thanks,
night.
Otis.
Thanks for coming up, Otis. Jason, you're up next.
Hey, Tal. Do you have an idea of when multi-collateral loans, like an estimated time frame?
Well, this is one of the main features we are working on for the next year, for 2022. We are speccing it right now. The good news is that the basic is the infrastructure is the same infrastructure, right? So we know how loans are working, we know how a loan should look like and everything. The only thing here is the triggers of margin calls with multi-collateral and how the calculation will work. So this is a little extra work from our side, but we are already working on it. So I don't want to, I don't want to give you a date and say that's when it will happen. I can tell you that this is our main focus for next year.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course, I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it to be live.
Same here, because I'm spread out all over the place.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. I promise.
Thank you, Tal.
So Tal, when can we pay people that refi loans from competitors? Why don't we give them like a nice incentive to bring some loans from competitors?
We are gonna launch a campaign for it, and we'll give more details about it in the next 2.5, 3 weeks.
All right.
Very, very soon.
I'm trying to get the queen to spill the beans, but she's very tight-lipped.
I want to have surprises too. I also want it to be ready. But there's a lot of campaigns we are working on for loans. There's one big campaign right now that is live. You can see more information about it. But take a loan and receive up to $75 in an award. But other than that, we are working on having a lot more loan promotions and campaigns being, launched and being live for all of you guys. So, it's the end of the year. We have a lot of people that need some rest. But after that, we're going to launch a lot of things.
You've added some more coins to the promotion, right? Or that's next week?
We added a lot of coins this week, and we're also going to do it retroactive. So in the last 2 weeks, all the loans we received against these coins going to receive a promo.
So maybe tell everybody which coins fall under this category so they know what.
Ooh, would love to. That's a big list. If you give me 1 second, because this is a really big list. Let's go. Let's check it out. So first,
people have still have to buy presents and pay credit card bills and all that stuff, right? So this is, you get $75 back on top of getting a loan at 1%. I mean, you can't beat that. So
or even
let's hear the
0%,
list.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. By the way, this is one of my first Christmas in the United States, and I do understand what it means now to buy a lot of gifts and Christmas decorations. Man, this is like a big thing. So definitely
Yep.
understand that. So we have ADA, XTZ, CNX, Sushi, Luna, BNB, where are, and this is what we added this week. So this is on top of Matic, 1 inch, and Dot.
So any of those names we just read gets an extra $25, $50, or $75, right? Based on the size of the loan.
Yes, exactly.
You get free
Immediate,
money.
and you don't need any promo code to. You don't need to enter any promo code. If you take that loan and keep it up for 6 months, you're gonna receive it. You're gonna receive the award in a month from now. It will be locked and then unlocked after 6 months. So that's also a way to hodl your coins.
Right. You don't need to sell them to pay off the bills. All right. Very good. So we have a few more questions, or
Yep.
are we done?
Yeah, there's a couple more people up here, but I had a question on the multi-collateral loan stuff, Tal. Will that decrease the probability of getting a margin call once those go live?
I think it will make it easier to answer a margin call, right? So today, if you have a loan against Bitcoin, you need to, add more Bitcoin if you had a margin call. But in the case of multi-collateral, you'll be able to add different coins you have in your balance, and that will make it much easier to answer a margin call. We are also, like, these days, we're trying to do the best to help clients with margin calls and to avoid liquidation. So we're doing our best, but this will make it much easier. So also, if you can lock more coins, you can give more, the LTV is going higher, and then it brings you far away from the margin call trigger. So it can help you from day one.
Got you. Thank you for answering that. Yeah, I meant liquidation, not margin call.
We don't like both.
Yeah, neither one, exactly.
Yeah.
Charlie, you're up next. Charlie, unmute yourself if you're trying to talk.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead, Charlie. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next person. So, DJ Satoshi, you're up next.
Hey, thank you guys for doing this. This is a question for Alex. It's more of a macro question. So, do you think that pretty soon the governments are going to start looking to tax Bitcoin just as a property, like property taxes?
Well, it depends how desperate they get. I think right now the good news is that they're only budgeting 28 billion in taxes from crypto this year, right? So that's I think a reasonable number, right? So hopefully most of us don't cheat on our taxes, and we can give them that so we can get away with just normal taxes instead of property taxes. But if they get greedy, then yes, it might happen. It might start taking place. But then all of us are just going to move to Puerto Rico or somewhere else, right? And avoid that.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for coming up, DJ Satoshi. Sour Ripple, you're up next.
Hey guys, you probably are aware today's the 1-year anniversary of the XRP versus the SEC, and yeah, I said it that way on purpose. I guess you know the question that's coming. Just kind of curious what the outlook is as far as getting back on the platform. Got a lot of XRP I'd like to get a loan against.
Tal, is there a restriction borrowing against XRP? I'm not sure that's a restriction.
I need to check with the guidelines we have. We were asked to remove this. I need to recheck it. It's happened around a year ago, so yeah, definitely been a while since we reviewed it last time.
Yeah. 3 letters against 3 letters. We'll see what happens.
Sour Ripple, did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
No problem. Thanks for joining us up here. Sujay, you're up next.
Yeah, I wanted to know like why is the interest rate different for different coins like Chainlink and Matic? Like Chainlink has also good utility, and, but Matic has a way higher interest rate for staking.
Yeah, so interest rates are dictated by either the borrowing need. So, like if there's a lot of need, then institutions compete with each other to pay higher interest, or by the staking rate. So, in this case, Matic decides what the staking rate, what the inflation is, and they pay a lot, so we pay a lot. You understand? So it's not we just give you more. I think like it's funny because a lot of people tell me, "Oh, you're not paying as much as Coinbase," and you have to understand that the rate, for example, other people publish, is before their fees. So Coinbase charges 25% fee on the rate they publish. Celsius does not have any fee. Our rate is the rate. It's not a rate before fees, since the fees are zero. So just do your homework and make sure you earn the most. Normally, that would be with Celsius.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks for coming up, Sujay. Next up is TJT.
Yeah, good evening. Question is the email that's going to be sent out this Thursday to Earn and Sell. Is that going out to everybody, or is that to a specified group initially?
It's going to be a form on our website. It's not an email that's going out. So I think, Zach, do you know which part of the website it's going to be on?
Yeah, it's going to be on the web app. And you're going to be able to submit your accreditation, and then you'll get a response within 48 hours that it's been accepted or not. And then that'll flag you in the system as accredited. And then starting mid-January, you'll be able to earn and sell, and we'll turn everybody on that's been listed as accredited in our system.
All right, sounds good. And I used the HODL hotline today for the first time, and I was really impressed. In fact, it's probably one of the few lines that I called where I waited for less than 1 minute to receive service. So it was really impressive. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thanks for the feedback.
Thanks for coming up, TJT. Next up is Mr. Cartmill.
Yeah, my question is for Tal. You just mentioned, I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. You said XDC?
XTZ. You can.
Tezos. Okay. I thought you said XDC. I was like, oh man, this is okay. I just want to make sure. Had me excited for a minute.
Sorry, guys. We're trying to do the best with everything we have.
All right. No problem. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming up, Mr. Cartmill. Next up is Average Joe.
Hi, good evening. Alex, thank you so much for taking my question. I submitted my paperwork to be an accredited investor. So will I still need to go on the website?
If you got approved by us in the last 6 months, then that is still valid. We can use that. So again, if you did an OTC transaction, or I think even if you took a loan, right, Tal? Is a loan? Do you guys do?
No, not for
No.
accredited investors. But that's a good
Right.
idea actually to check if we can.
Yeah. So again, if you did OTC, or there was another one. I forgot what's the other qualifier.
I went on the website and got accredited by an attorney, and then so it was the official paperwork document, paid the whatever $50 fee, whatever it was, and then I submitted that to Celsius. So they have it on. I know they have it on file because I've asked, and they said, "Hey, we're we're reviewing it and we're waiting and so forth. I just wanted to know if I still need to go on the
Yeah,
website.
you don't need to. If it was in the last 6 months, you don't need to do it again.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Accreditations usually are only good for 6 months. So just as a general statement.
Thanks for coming up, Average Joe. Crypto King, you're up next.
Hi, Alex. Good evening. How are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
Good, good, wonderful. I was just looking at the Twitters, and there's a word. Michael Saylor is ready to. He's looking for yield on his BTC. So, are we soliciting him? Thanks.
Yeah, we're reaching out to him. As you know, I did an interview with him on the Moip show. So that's anyone who wants to watch that. We were talking about a bunch of different things, and so definitely we're reaching out to him and see. I think he kind of said that more in passing. Like I don't think he's actively looking to earn yield, but we definitely, you know, we're definitely
If I
trying.
remember correctly, this morning there's a whole big article from MicroStrategy, and then Michael Saylor kind of endorsed it. So we may want to kind of be a little bit proactive in reaching out to him. Thanks.
Yep. All right. I'll make sure that our team is doing that.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming up, Crypto King. Pete, you're up.
Yeah, just to follow up to Saylor. Alex, you ever think that his company will get involved in mining itself? I was on a call the other day with listening in on Hut 8, and they said it was about $3,000 is what it cost them to mine a Bitcoin. And I'm just curious if you think they'll ever jump into that space.
If Michael Saylor will jump into mining?
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to say, right? So right now they're more in the business of borrowing money and buying Bitcoin with it. Mining is a very different business, right? You need to have facilities. You need to know how to run them, how to buy power. Things break. You need all that stuff, right? So that's a different business. And it sounds easy, but it's not easy when you have 40, 50, 100,000 machines, right? So it's so I'm not sure he wants to get into that business.
Did that answer your question, Pete?
Yeah, it sure does. With the how cheap it is to borrow money, it makes sense from his business plan and strategy. I was just curious, just based on what the Hut 8 CEO had shared about 3K to mine a Bitcoin based on their operations. So thanks for that.
Yeah, I think on the podcast he just did with Safe and he talked about that, and like mining can be a good business if you are in a certain situation or if you have a certain advantage. But if he can borrow money at extremely low rates and then purchase that digital property today, then that's, I think he said the most advantage for him and his company.
Also, the Hut 8 or Celsius have very low cost for Bitcoin production because we made the investments a few years ago, not now. If you're buying it now and you're buying electricity now and you're buying machines for next year, your costs are much, much higher. So Michael Saylor can't buy Bitcoin or make Bitcoin for $3,000, right? It's going to cost him much more than that. So you have to understand that there's it takes, even if you get into the business right now, it's going to take you a few years to put it together and start mining, and you don't really know what the price of Bitcoin is going to be or what's the price of electricity or anything like that.
Yeah, no, the Hut 8 CEO was also speaking to her competitive advantage about the relationship she has with the company that provides the chips for the mining rigs. So yeah, no, it's just interesting to learn more about it. So thanks for sharing.
Yep.
Thanks for coming up, Pete. That sort of concludes the questions. Alex, did you have a closing thoughts or anything like that?
Yeah, look, again, I want to thank all the people that join us. Obviously, we're here for the community, how to answer your questions, make sure that we also listen carefully to what you guys want, what kind of features or functionality you're looking, and make sure we prioritize it that way. Again, we're still growing the team very rapidly. We're now at just over 650 people, and we think we're gonna need to get to over 1,000 just to kind of keep up with what all the promises that we've made. So again, we need help with technical people, with marketing people, with you name it, any finance people. Doesn't matter, almost any skill you have. It's more about do you have again, if you want an easy job, that's not Celsius. You know, everybody at Celsius is working hard, putting their heart and sweat and tears and into this company because we know we're helping a lot of people around the world. We want to make the world a better place, and we do good first, and then we do well. So I have to go through the list of bonuses I have to give everybody, which I'm super happy to do because everybody on that list earned it. And again, this is the community paying these bonuses. This is not me paying these bonuses. These monies are the extra we earn from yield, right? From institutions, from exchanges, from mining, from all these different operations. So it couldn't be any better, right? The community is getting paid. The community is paying all of us for our hard work, and we're keeping it all among us. We're not. This is not going to bankers or fancy Wall Street guys or anybody like that. The opposite. They're the ones paying our bills. They're the ones paying the yield. And unlike most of DeFi, which is inflationary, here all of our yield is created through actual value creation, right? We lend out the assets, we earn interest for that, and that interest turns out to be income for all of you every Monday. So, and that is a formula that no one else can compete with, right? I mean, it doesn't matter how much farming you do or how many airdrops do you do or whatever. Most of these projects, most of the other projects, sooner or later, will wither out and will basically be proven not to be sustainable business models. So right now, we might not be the most shiny toy because people don't understand what's happening. But you will see that longer term, Celsius will emerge as one of the very few, if not the only, project that has a sustainable business model. Now, we invented this category. We kept it clean. A lot of other people are experimenting with different models, and we'll see if they can stick to it or not. But I can promise you that we will be only implementing things that are in the best interest of the community, rather things that can be that are creating short-term economics for the founders or for very few people in these projects. So again, thanks for joining. We'll see you on Friday. We have a special MA. We're gonna have a special guest, and I look forward. Somebody who definitely is also focused on doing good. So I'm super excited to have them on the show, and happy holidays. And we'll see you on Friday. Take care. Have a good night.
See you Friday, Alex. Happy holidays.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. We run these rooms for you, almost every day of the week. So if you didn't get your questions answered tonight, just jump in on the next room. And hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys have a good night. Make sure you're following myself, Zach, Scott, and Tal. And we will catch you on the next one.